The spiritual message from this tragic track meet stabbing. The spiritual message from this tragic track meet stabbing. What's the deal, family? What's the word? What's the word? Dreamwise here for another one. Yeah, while I get my computer going, because this thing has been acting very, very slow, I'm gonna play some music. You know, it's the first of the month, baby. You know, we gotta do it one time. So let me get this party started with a little song from yours truly, Dream to the Wise. Let's see if they'll let me get it. Oh, see, I told you though, they be trying to play. They try to not let it. I'm gonna get it though, don't worry. I know Mercury retrograde has to be over with. So they got a nigga like me fucked up. Check your boy out. Let's get these vibes right, man. Oh boy, that nigga took off on that bitch. That nigga said the world stops for you, the world stops for me. Ashe. God damn. Shout out to the family. Peace to the family. Peace to the squad, y'all. Yeah, man. Something's going on with this computer, but you know how spirit work. We had to stop the world. Nigga had to stop the world real quick and put that down. That nigga, see, Maxwell be underrated. Niggas know about Maxwell, but goddamn, he need to get more praise. Some of them songs that he did, that's spiritual channels, spiritual messages from the spirit world for real. What's up, y'all? What's the deal? Yeah, we got to talk about this tragic event that happened with this track meet thing. And you know, at the same time, at the end of the day, everything has spiritual ties to it. So I want to make sure that we are in the space to receive the message, whether somebody transitioned or not. Rising in power to that dude, Austin Metcalf, right? But you know, there's always spiritual lessons and messages in events. So you got to also think about it as if somebody transitions in your life, right? It's a sad thing. It is a sad thing. And you know, it can be hard to take in this human form. But at the same time, at the end of the day, sometimes people come down here to transition at particular times to shift you into another position of God. One of my homeboys, he was close with one of our home girls, real close, right? And you know, they was cool or whatever. And she just transitioned out of nowhere, right? And I was talking to them, and I was like, yeah, you know how this thing is. It's, you know, it's sad, but now, what does it actually mean for you? Because remember, you're here in this world to observe and experience this adventure completely holistically. And there's lessons in different people, situationships that you might be attached to that you have to understand from a cosmic level, from a holistic level, even in death. So yeah, I'm excited for this bill because this is one of those that's going to help the family grow and understand completely who you are as a god, as a goddess. So first, I have to run down my Twitter feed, because essentially what's happening is, nigga, the whole world stopped and they just started having opinions and ideas about what happened in this particular case. And if y'all don't know, Carmelo Anthony, not related to the NBA player Carmelo with a K, and this Caucasian boy, Austin Metcalf, got into an altercation, and he ended up transitioning. The Austin Metcalf character ended up transitioning based off of Carmelo stabbing him, and some people are saying in the heart. So now the world has gotten in a flux of separation based off of the skin color. Ha! I say, why would I see the skin color? I was like, here we go. They got one, coach. You know, the powers that be picked that up quick. They like, oh, got one. Yes, sir. Let's push this agenda. Let's get it. They did it immediately. They seen that skin color. Black, white, same age, high school. They said, fuck it, let's go. They said, yep, spundulate it. And now, you know, and it's not also the powers that be, it's also the ego-driven thoughts of everybody else in the world. So let me roll down my Twitter feed real quick so I can show y'all some of the stuff that has been popping up as of lately. If y'all don't know, follow me on Twitter. So this is a fake page. This is a fake image. I believe it's a fake image, right? But essentially, I think he's with this Austin Metcalf dude, and this is them, you know, I guess kicking it essentially, right? Oh shoot, hold on. Why is it not sharing? See, that's how this thing works. Hold on, let me share it again. Let me try it again. All right, let's see if it's sharing now. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, Carmelo is holding a gun now. Some people said this was physically imposed. I don't know. I'm not sure. It looks like it's fake. You feel me? And he got Caucasians friends with him and stuff like that. And they're trying to paint a picture of Carmelo that's saying he is uncivilized and unhumane. You feel me? He's an animal and he needs to be thrown into jail, right? And specifically, the Caucasian side is pulling this piece off. You feel me? Now, the interesting idea of this is the melanated beings have come to Carmelo's aid and rescue, and essentially they pick their side and they don't give a fuck if this nigga came in with, you know, malice intent or whatever, right? They're like, fuck it, we're gonna just take care of ours. You feel me? And this number has changed as of lately. I think it's 170,000 that people raised for Carmelo. Now, you know, there could be Caucasian people that's donating to this fund because they might have no bias in the game. But you can just imagine this majority of melanated beings, black people, that's donating this money, right? And then the Austin Metcalf, I think they in a race because he got like 270,000. You feel me? So boys is in this thing. Boys is in this thing in a race. You feel me? Black people on one side running with Carmelo heavy all the way to the finish line, track meet style. White people, Caucasian people running with Austin Metcalf all the way heavy to the finish line. I wonder what the other races are doing. That'll be interesting to see. Some of them might be leaning into the white people. You know, they be prejudiced in a bit. Yeah, he did that shit. Fuck it. Now, I'm not here to pick a side. You know me. I'm the ultimate observer in this thing. So I'm just here as a spiritual being, having this human experience, observing it, and, you know, putting in my 2 cents as I see fit. You feel me? So then I seen this video going around, boys talking about the shit. Now we need to protect from a stabbing. Ha! Look, I see somebody say we need to protect ourselves from these monkeys trying to stab us and kill us. I say, God damn, it's going down. Let's get the race war happening quickly. And it's just been showing up constantly, consistently in everything you've been seeing as of lately. With the whole Trump and Elon versus the Democratic people that's been doing the marching and shit. That was on April. Was that April 5th? Yeah. That whole narrative, right? With them people. You feel me? Now, you can look at Elon and Trump almost damn near like the new way of thinking. You feel me? This new motion of thinking. And the people that are marching are on the old paradigm of we want people to tell us what to do. We want to be in some kind of order. We want people to put us in our place. You feel me? And give us narratives to do. That's what you can look at with the Elon and Trump being so radical and so like, hey, niggas is gonna have to go for theirs. Fuck it. And then people that are still stuck in that Piscean age of thinking is moving in the aspect of, nah, I was liking when people was telling me what to do. I'm not no God. I'm not no goddess. I just want people to give me the law of the land and run it for me. You feel me? So that's how you can look at that, especially with that parade April 5th. Because essentially them boys is just fighting against something that's new, and they're afraid of change. But the beautiful thing about chaos is you must embark in change to establish a new world order, or a new order that moves you into a new paradigm of thought, a new way of thinking, a new way of living, a new way of being. And if you're afraid, then what they say, go to church, right? But soon enough, the churches are going to die off, and you will die off with the churches as well. Because you were probably meant to be in that Piscean age, and you're just holding on to that old narrative that the earth is shifting and actually coming into a new form. So from formless to form, we're coming into a new form from the chaos and the order. So if you're not into the wave, you just got to get ready for the shift, because it's happening. Crypto, AI, hell, they got the ChatGPT on X now. You feel me? For free, and that's all the information is just going a million. You can make pictures and everything on that bitch. They'll edit your pictures and everything for the free. So now you can just imagine where the world's going to be in 5 years from now if AI is this advanced. I seen some AI videos. I was like, damn, is that LeBron? Is that Jay-Z? What they doing? Now, obviously, it was AI video, but just imagine where it's going to go to make perfect faces move in a specific manner. In 5 years from now, where that bitch is going to be. They're going to be setting up people like a motherfucker, boy. What? So you got to get with this new wave. This Aquarius age is happening. And the Aquarius age is just the information of self. And if you don't understand that just yet, then you're not doing no work, because it's here. It's here to stay. And you got to get with it, because your truth is your truth. And I'm going to speak a lot about that in this specific build that I'm about to do. If you see, it's one thing to hold on to that old paradigm and not see or sense how spirit is moving this thing. All of this stuff is symbolic messages from the spirit world in the form of situationships and in the form of people, places, things, whatever, but in the form of activity. So you're going to have to get with it whether you like it or not, or you're just going to have to die off and try again. So get ready for the wave because it's coming and there's not nothing you can do to stop it. You feel me? You just embrace it and just be able to observe it as a spiritual being or as God and a goddess. Let me keep on rolling. Watch this. Hold on. Let's listen to this dude's perspective on it because he was kind of oh, that's me posting something else. All right, let's watch this.
Austin got unalived. A lot of people are trying to make it a race issue, and it's not. It has nothing to do with that right there. But a lot of people are attacking this young man and are showing the negative side and everything. But I want you to see him in his positive side because this was self-defense. The story that's being told, Carmelo, he was sitting up under a tent, under the wrong tent and everything. That's what they said, under the wrong tent. And Austin came over there, told him to move. Said Carmelo got aggressive with him and everything, and then stabbed him with a knife in the heart and everything, and he passed away. That's not the full story. First off, Carmelo had permission from another coach to go over there and set up under that tent. He had permission. Another thing that was
hey, why this black dude know for if this nigga was there? He was there. He seen it. You know, black people don't. Hey, they don't. And there's thousands of these videos, by the way, thousands. Now I believe the guy. You feel me? Just because I'm saying fuck it, that's my truth too. Fuck it, that's what happened. You feel me? But these boys emphatically saying that they was there. Chaos in the blood. Hey, that nigga ain't even letting up. He like, nah, watch this. Nah, because of the skin color and because y'all picked the side so long ago that y'all believe y'all gotta identify with this skin color. It's basically your team. And in this being your team, now whatever happens whenever it's the opposition on the other side, you're riding with that team no matter what. Shit, you seen it in that U of H and Duke game. U of H was all black. You feel me? The whole 12-man roster, all black. Duke, majority damn near white. You feel me? So boys was like, hey, I'm going for them. You know, our parents and stuff. I mean, we from Houston, so we chose U of H. Oh, that game yesterday pissed me the fuck off. I said, God damn, I know Kelvin Sampson, that last play, he was just like, this nigga did not take that shot. He didn't even take it. He didn't even. And then that dude messed up twice. So I was like, I know he having a night, boy. You got to pull off a shot no matter what. And essentially, they just didn't want it bad enough because they should have pulled off a shot regardless. Like, niggas got to guide that shit into the basket. You feel me? Let's keep listening to this dude.
Said and been spread out far and wide is that they didn't know each other. That's a lie because they definitely knew each other. This is an older picture. They definitely knew each other. Other stuff that's coming out is Austin was being mean and harassing Carmelo because they definitely.
Wait. If this is him, I don't know if he has the gun in his hand right here. And I don't even know if this is Austin. You know, all white people look the same to some of us. You feel me? They saying it's him. I don't know which one is Austin, whatever. But you just see the narratives coming a mile away. You feel me? And boys coming with these think tanks about what happened, and they trying to get my boy Carmelo off. Or on the opposite side, which there's thousands of them videos, you know, Austin Metcalf could do no wrong. He was an upstanding student, and he, you know, he loved everybody, shit like that. And I seen a video where they said he politely asked him to leave. He said, excuse me, you're in the wrong. I said, damn, boys going to the extreme. So then they trying to paint it to be on the Caucasian side. They're trying to paint it to be like Carmelo just said, nigga, you can't tell me what to do. Like he was just up in evil. You feel me? So these narratives, these point of views is getting painted like a motherfucker. And they said Carmelo he was just like, nah, let me show you this. Let me show you out of here. And then Carmelo said, don't touch me. And then all of a sudden they got in a scuffle somehow. And then Carmelo just got the knife and stabbed him. Say, when you hear these point of views, you be like, damn, boys see it in their mind's eye in so many different ways. They don't give a fuck about the truth. They just care about their truth, and they'll live in that truth heavy.
They knew each other. This is an older picture. They definitely knew each other. Other stuff that's coming out is Austin was being mean and harassing Carmelo, his girlfriend, actually, Carmelo's girlfriend. He was harassing her at a party that was about maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. Carmelo took up for his girlfriend. Then all of a sudden, the fight broke out. Austin broke Carmelo's phone just the day before this incident took place. So the day of this incident, Austin confronted Carmelo for sitting up under the tent in the wrong area. They got into an argument. Carmelo's backpack was grabbed, and then he was called the N-word, and then Austin tried to grab.
You feel me? Boys say he called him the N-word. Niggas been beefing. It's up when I see you. I got my knife ready. I'm trying to you start this shit with my girl and shit. Boys coming up with narratives like motherfucker. Now shit, this is the best, this is the cleanest version. I seen some versions, and this one is like, oh, okay. You know, that kind of makes sense to me. You feel me? In my point of view, right? But at the same time, at the end of the day, I really don't give a fuck. It's just really me just sensing and feeling out the situation at hand, because it is tough to to just stab somebody just in the aspect of like, nigga, I'm trying, you've been tripping. Now, if this story is true, Carmelo is done, because then that means they could in the court of law, they could say he came in there to start trouble with shit. You feel me? So I don't know what this dude talking about. He might be tripping with saying this.
He tried to forcibly move him. And it wasn't Austin by himself. Both of them got up there and attacked Carmelo. Both of them did. And there were a lot of witnesses down there that said that the twins, plural, tried to jump him. Well, actually, they did jump him. They stomped on him and they broke his phone and they tried to take his things. So nothing peaceful was about that whole thing. And something else is going to come out. This is allegedly. Something else is going to come out. He had narcotics in his system. He did. Austin, he had narcotics in his system. That's what caused him to be overly aggressive.
And that supposedly is true, that he did have some narcotics in his system. He has some, they said Molly in his system. And they said, and supposedly the autopsy report says that's what he actually died from. Let's see what else I had. Oh, Charleston White, of course.
Because black people got a heart of retribution and vengeance and violence and anger. They want to get back at white people. No wonder Dr. Kingdom could get some things and we can't. Because Dr. Kingdom said, hey, man, don't hit them back. Hey, man, don't hit them back. And those people got way more. Now, this group say, let's kill them. Let's kill them. But your kids, you hear about kids every day in the hood schools getting bullied, but y'all don't have this much outrage for bullying. They have a no bullying month, but y'all don't have this much out. But now all of a sudden it's out, let's kill the bully. Most of y'all are bullies. Talk to them. Most of y'all are, come on, cuz, OG, bullies.
Good. You know, Charleston White is controlled opposition. So he, no matter what the situation is, he's going to pick the opposite side against black people, regardless. You feel me? Because he wants to create a world where, you know, that gang culture can get the hell up out of here, right? So he's trying to, you know, really push that narrative of like, nigga, black on black crime is happening at a dramatic way. Now y'all worried about this boy stabbing up this white kid, and y'all are outraged at that, of him being convicted with that. But shit, some of these black on black kids crimes is happening at such an alarming rate that y'all ain't saying nothing about that shit. You feel me? So that's what's happening in the world. And if y'all just go down the rabbit hole of this Carmelo and Austin Metcalf thing, it's just a whole flux of people with their point of views and their ideas and narratives of what actually happened. Now, I'm going to tell you how to approach this thing and why you want to approach it in this way, because it's spirit at hand giving you plays and understandings. And one of the biggest understandings also is, well, I'll tell you about that in their names, because their name says a lot too, right? Is their first two letters of their names. You just do the symbolic messages of that. K-A, Ka, right? And then A-U, Ah, or gold. Don't worry, I'll tell y'all about that later. But now, so this is the interesting thing, because I wanted to tap into the staying your ground aspect, because, you know, one of the things that happened as of lately is maybe in the past 3 years, the stay your ground law has came into fruition heavy. So now boys is in place to defend themselves against an imminent attack or somebody that they feel is attacking them based off of, you know, they might be in fear of their life or whatever. You feel me? So y'all don't go trying to jump out your car with no guns and shit, right? That shit is gonna cause you a headache. I remember I was probably 20. I'm pulling up 20, 21, something like that. I'm pulling up to a female's apartment, into her apartment in the hood and shit. You know, I have a Crown Vic. No, what I think I had a Lincoln at that time. Yeah, I had a Lincoln on them spinners and shit like that. Looking crazy, boy. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, I'm fly, you know, whatever. Fly, bang, trunk, 22s, all that shit, right? Red, it was nasty. And I'm pulling in late at night, 10:30 at night, whatever, 11. And this, I ain't see, because you know how at dark, when it's dark, sometimes your windows get fogged up and shit. So I can't see nothing. I'm just driving, trying to see and shit, whatever. I think it was cold outside or something. Nigga, I park, right? And this undercover, y'all remember them undercover cops in the all black Crown Vic cop car. Nothing is just all black. I park, they jump out. Ugh. And I roll, and they tap my window with a gun. And I got my gun right here on the side. Now, this is the interesting thing, because somebody's about to die that night, because I'm thinking I'm about to get robbed. But some told me to not even reach for my gun, because it was ducked off in a particular way, because it, you know, I just was like, fuck it, I'm about to get robbed. Well, fuck it, they ain't gonna rob me. Shit. Whatever. I didn't reach for my gun. I rolled down the window, and I'm thinking I'm getting robbed. They got the gun to my head. They're like, boy, didn't we tell you to stop? You didn't see our flashing light? Where the drugs at? And I said, oh shit. I said, hey, I was glad they were undercovers, because if it was the sticker boys, I would have just been got and just fuck it. You feel me? Sorry, sir. They get me out the car quick. You feel me? And they put me on the hood or whatever. Now, mind you, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, damn, if they go search my car, I'm probably gonna be over, because you know what I'm saying? Whatever, right? Luckily, they didn't search my car. I don't have no drugs, sir. I was real calm and cool and collective. You feel me? And and I believe they pulled me over just based off of stereotype and based off of my car being so flashy, and they probably seeing me with my dreads and shit, because I had dreads then too. And you know, nigga, you know how that shit go. You feel me? So anyway, long story short, I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, if I would have went into it, see, it would have went crazy, because them niggas would have got killed, and I probably would have went to jail for killing undercover cops. Or if it was to stand your ground, they got me fucked up, And I probably could have killed them boys on just the merit of fuck it. You feel me? You can't just pull up on nobody with a tapping your gun like that. But then who's to justify how, you know what I'm saying? So that shit would have been weird in the grand scheme of things. And now that this stand your ground law is in effect, now we just got to be very careful and mindful of how this law actually works before we pull the trigger. Because again, if I would have killed one of them, they probably would have got me because it was two of them. So I would have shot the first one. I would have ducked back. I said, who the fuck? Because they banging on my glass hard. I was just jumped and I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just roll down this window. Because I don't know what the fuck is going on. And shit, that shit would have ended. You know, who knows how that would have ended. And then, you know, at that moment, after that, I realized, I said, you know what? That shit ain't even, what can you do? Shit, you got to be shooting fast. You got to shoot fast. And when you see these young kids today, niggas just losing their life because they not shooting fast enough. Basically, essentially, you feel me? Boys is trying to rob boys. You got to shoot immediately because the nigga that's trying to rob you is probably scary than a bitch. And he probably accidentally shoot your ass. So now that's staying your ground law coming into full effect is an interesting dynamic in this new world we're going into. I just want everybody to be mindful and safe when you are out there riding, because again, you know what I'm saying, boys is really scary in the heart. So they will shoot you and try to make that stand your ground. So don't be just jumping out of cars and shit like that. You feel me? It says in Texas, the stand your ground law, also known as the castle doctrine, allows individuals to use force, including deadly force, in self-defense without a duty to retreat, as long as they are in a place where they have a legal right to be and they reasonably believe they are in imminent danger. So that's going to be a big part of Carmelo's case, is if he felt. So he gonna get charged with something because again he brought a knife as a I don't know the laws of that, but as he brought a knife to a track meet, essentially. So he might get charged for that as a high schooler. I'm assuming, whatever that might be. Maybe he won't. Shit, you know what I'm saying? It's a knife. But then again, you know what I'm saying? You can't. I don't think they probably got the sign, no weapons. All in the thing, so he's gonna get charged for that. Now, if he not, I don't believe he's gonna get charged for murder, especially if they can prove that he was just visiting the tent and them boys jumped him. You feel me? Because if they was on top of him, then he got to stand your ground law all the way. And he could have been trying to fight his way out of there. And he said, oh, let me grab my bag. Oh, shit. Ugh! And try to just get out of there quick. Stab that nigga quick. He getting, He grabbed his bag like, oh, shit. This might be it. Got his ass quick, and then he bounced and he just ran up out of there. I said, man, I don't know what happened. So that stand your ground law is going to come into full effect heavy in this thing. And the biggest things he's going to have to beat is we already can say he felt like he was in imminent danger. Fuck it. You feel me? Hey, them white boys big. You feel me? He like, hey, these two white boys too, pouncing on them and shit. Hey, fuck it. You feel me? It's gonna come down to a lot of witnesses too. And as long as they are in a place where they have the legal right to be. Now, this is gonna be the tricky one, because if that coach told them, based off of him used to go to that school, if that coach said, hey, yeah, you can go kick it with your former teammates. You feel me? If that coach told him that, then he's gonna beat this shit. He's gonna still get some time, maybe in juvie or something, but he's gonna beat it. Now they might make an example out of him based off of the narrative that's being painted in the aspect of, like, you know, this black versus white thing. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. That aspect is really keeping people stuck and in a trance-like state of this world and being human. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, we got to understand what's really going on. So here goes the his report of drugs, and it says the primary cause of death is drug overdose. Drug overdose. So he literally was filled with that Molly, you feel me, that MDMA, that Molly. And it said blood loss versus stab wound. So then he secondary loss is the blood loss or whatever, you feel me? So if the autopsy report is saying, hey, this nigga had signs of fentanyl in his body, signs of Molly in his body, and he was just in a oblivious state where he didn't know what he was doing, you feel me? Because them drugs will get you real emotional and shit and put you in a state like, what this black nigga doing in our tent? Hell nah, boy, you got me fucked up. Told you I don't want to see your ass. I'll beat your motherfucking ass. And then the twin brother saying, yeah, nigga, we'll beat your ass, nigger. You feel me? They coming with straight words of, nigga, I'll beat your black. He might be shorter than them too. Carmelo might be just thinking like, nigga, I was trying to kick it with my other partners. You feel me? Y'all tripping in this bitch. Hey, I ain't hey, go get your coach. Take it up with your coach. You feel me? So it's going to be an interesting case, and this is going to be one of those cases where they're trying to paint it as one of those cases that will, live on in time and shit like that. You feel me? So here go the white people in their narrative. It says the entire real estate market in this country is based on how far away can I get from these people. What it say? Far away get from these people based on 3 hours driving to work. God damn. Hey, chaos in the blood, baby. I cannot make it up. How far can I get it from these people without having a 3-hour drive to work? So, you're seeing all these memes, all these pictures, these derogatory pictures, all of this stuff that's happening right now. And they're creating the divide in the masses. Now, a big part of the powers that be strategy is this Robert's Cave experiment, right? Now, the Robert's Cave experiment was an interesting experiment that happened back in the day based off of 22 Caucasian white boys. 11 white boys on one side and 11 white boys on another side, right? Same color, same creed, age, all of that stuff, right? And essentially, they put them in this big experiment without them knowing, where they put specific items into one group of white boys, and then the other group didn't get it. And then they kept on doing that. So they had a superior white group and an inferior white group. You feel me? What does that remind you of? Ha! Chaos in the blood, baby. Hey, and the easiest way to keep people in control is to keep them divided and make them fight against somebody else instead of fighting for themselves. See, when you're in the flux of thinking these outside enemies are you, then your mind is in a constant state of survival mode, fear, anxiety. And the biggest enemy you have is your mind. So what you're believing about yourself is your enemy. Who you see yourself as I'm a black guy and I'm on this team, is your enemy. It's these ego-driven thoughts that's keeping you from receiving God-driven thoughts, spiritual downloads and channels that let you move in this adventure accordingly. See, spirit can give you a play where you have to do some work with some white boys. But because you are black and you're in your ego and you're like, nah, this is my team over here. I'm black. Hey, nah, fuck that. I can't do this shit. Now you will completely reject what spirit just gave you. And that was the next mission in your adventure that you had to embark on to find a sense of freedom and God, or, you know, clarity in your world. But because of your skin color, because of your team, the team you vicariously picked based off of your look, now you're stuck in a flux of habitually, repetitiously being, you know, human. It's the same thing with the U of H, you feel me, or the Rockets, picking the Rockets and shit like that. Yeah, you can have a sports team that you want to cheer on just based off of, you know, you're having a human experience. But when you vicariously live through these sports teams, you vicariously living through the Minnesota Vikings, through the Green Bay Packers, through the Dallas Cowboys and shit. Everything you do and get up is based off of them. Yeah, I'm a Dallas Cowboy, through your Sigma groups and your Deltas and all of that shit. You feel me? Your fraternities and sororities and stuff. When you vicariously live through that idea and say, this is my group and this is what it is, now all of a sudden you don't have no chance to grow because you're stuck in a mindset or a law that governs that group based off of shit you believe yourself to be them. So now you got to wear Dallas Cowboys gear and shit. You got to watch them every Sunday just based off of you pro. Now, I'm not saying you can't enjoy the game. I'm saying when you attach emotion to the outcome of these particular things and vicariously dream about it, now you're creating your imaginary world against something that's outside of yourself. It's believing in Jesus. That's all it is. It's believing in any of these deities instead of being one with the deity. And I'm gonna do an invoking deities class in October, when near Hallows Eve, right? Because that's an interesting work that I've done in my time that took me to a whole nother level. You feel me? So I want the family to understand to the core, right? That, well, let me play this Robert's Cave video because I did have a video on it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me see.
To in middle school and high school, and even if you skimmed over the book, you might remember what it's about. A group of boys find themselves stranded on a desert island with no
This thing don't want to act right. Okay, let's try it again. All right, here we go.
Welcome back to our social psychology series, and today's video is going to be about the Robbers Cave experiment. Have you ever read the book The Lord of the Flies? A lot of people have to in middle school and high school, and even if you skimmed over the book, you might remember what it's about. A group of boys find themselves stranded on a desert island with no adult supervision, and as they try to establish some form of society, they turn on each other in desperation, and things get brutal. Now, this book has become a staple of young adult fiction and is known for being a reflection of society. It warns that anyone has the potential to get violent if they're desperate enough for scarce resources. Lord of the Flies came out in 1954, and the year before, the Rockefellers gave psychologist Muzaffar Sharif $38,000 to conduct a fascinating research experiment. Basically, what happened was he was tired of working with lab rats, and he set out to do something unusual, an experiment that one could say mirrored Lord of the Flies. So this experiment, once known for its fascinating insight into group conflict theory, is now more infamous than famous. And regardless of its reputation, it remains as one of the most well-known social psychology experiments of the 20th century. Basically, Sharif wanted to show how easily groups could turn on each other when they were fighting for limited resources. But he also wanted to show how easily these groups could set aside their differences and come together to defeat a common enemy. Observing these group dynamics couldn't be done in a lab with rats or dogs. So what he did was he experimented on a summer camp. The 22 boys at Robbers Cave State Park did not know that their summer camp experience would actually be part of a larger social experiment. They didn't even know how many people would be at the camp until the second day. So on the first day, researchers posing as counselors established two groups of campers, the Eagles and the Rattlers. After the boys bonded within their own groups, they were introduced to the other group. And the researchers set up a series of competitions over the next couple days, like baseball games and tug of war. The winners received prizes, and the losers would receive nothing. Eventually, they began to set up additional conflicts. For example, one group got access to food, while the others were told to wait. You might know what happens then. The boys eventually started to develop an us versus them mentality, something that I've already went over in my in-group and out-group bias videos. And at first, they only exchanged threats and engaged in verbal conflict. However, quickly, things became more physical. One group literally burned the other group's flag, and the other group responded by raiding their cabin and stealing items from the boys in that group. Things eventually got violent. In surveys during this period, the boys shared negative thoughts and stereotypes against the boys in the other group. This proved the first part of Sharif's theory. But he wasn't done. The Robbers Cave experiment then went into a final friction reduction phase. All 22 boys were given tasks that would benefit the group as a whole. To help with this, the researchers set up a challenge in which a truck delivering food was stuck and it couldn't deliver the meals. So the boys
Okay, so hopefully I got what he said, the gist of what he said. He was essentially saying that whenever you are put on a team, right, in this Robbers Cave experiment, and one group is handed a particular things to survive, and another group is not, then you vicariously say, okay, it's us versus them. Then this us versus them mentality comes into the fold in the form of competition and in the form of, this great divide, if you will, to scatter up people's minds in the grand scheme of things. So now all of a sudden, what you want to do is really look at it from the lens of you're not on the team. You feel me? When you place yourself on the team, now all of a sudden you're placing yourself in a flux of being subjected to that team's laws and what they get. So this is all mental alchemy, and I want to read something from Ancient Future, Wayne Chandler's book. The principle of polarity. Like and alike are the same. Like and alike are the same. Ancient Future, Wayne Chandler. Must have. Everybody must get it. Don't play yourself. It says the Hermeticists of ancient Egypt had a thorough understanding of the functional dynamics of the law of polarity. This, the fourth great axiom from the Hermetic perspective, embodies the truth that all things manifested in the mental universe have two sides, two aspects, two poles, and a pair of opposites with multifaceted degrees between them. Thus, everything has inherent duality or poles, which manifests the multitudes of opposites that we encounter on a daily basis. So, opposites are happening constantly throughout your world, right? And hold on, let's get it on. The root of suffering is attachment. So when you attach to a side, now you're in what we call suffering, right? And you're going to suffer based off of the jurisdiction of that group, laws, dynamics. So when we're talking about the 7 laws of Tahuti, we're talking about embodying these principles, embodying these universal laws, and then coming into a space of formless energy to make the laws happen for you, which is being a conscious observer of yourself. Here we go. Batteries have an anode and a cathode, or positive and negative aspects, that when properly connected will generate power or electrical force. So you need the opposite, the positive and the negative, to generate electrical force, which is you, an electrical being, which is you being powerful or aware, essentially. Electrical current is a flow of actual two currents: AC, alternating current, in which the poles reverse, and DC, direct current, where the poles are constant. The expression AC-DC is also English slang to describe someone who is bisexual or who alternates between their sexual poles. Okay, so now you can see it happening even in the aspect of like androgyny, and you're somebody that moves in a space of confusion, even in the slang terms. All of these opposites may at any time be transmuted, provided the practitioner understands the law. Things belongs to different classes cannot be transmuted into one another, but elements of the same class may have their positions reversed. For example, love can never become east or west, but it may become hate. Hard things may render soft, hot things may become cold, and sharp things may become dull. The principle of polarity states that like and unlike are the same. The opposites are identical in nature and different only in their degree. So it's only different in the vibrational pitch that you're putting onto it. So now, as a spiritual being, as a God, right? It's up to you to not have attachment to a side, because that's what the powers that be want you to do. They want you to be attached to one of these sides, either Carmelo or Austin Metcalf. But the real game is to detach from it all and observe the whole dance happening as you're in this adventure, as you're in this world. So detachment is experiencing our feelings without allowing them to control us. We step back and look at things objectively. We let go and accept what we cannot change. You can't change none of this stuff anyway. So in order to become a God, right, you're going to have to let go of what you believe is right or wrong, and just objectively observe as a bystander, as somebody that's not in the game. You're in the world, but not of the world. So you're not in the space of playing the game. You're in the space of observing the game as a whole and seeing what happens in this game. They had the show Kill Tony premiere on Netflix. I think it was yesterday. It just premiered on Netflix, right? And you look at that and you say, oh yeah, the world is changing, because that show is racist by design. Like they literally make racist jokes by design. And it's not only white people, it's black people doing it, Hispanics doing it, right? And they're literally going for theirs with the racist jokes and racist rhetoric. So that whole cancel culture that we went through, right, for the past 7 to 10 years is definitely over. Because the stuff they saying on there is like, oh, okay. And now people are just letting that stuff fall off their back. Because one, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words shouldn't hurt me, right? The 4 agreements also. So now once you start getting, so now as you can see us moving back to this level of not taking stuff personal, right? And just being an observer of it all, then you can start to have fun in this bitch. Nigga, I was watching some of that Kill Tony. They be making racist jokes and shit. That should be funny even with black people. You feel me? Even the black ones, they be funny, right? Just based off of the stereotype of the human. Especially the white ones be funny, whatever, right? Hispanics. So now if you can remove yourself from the emotional attachment of being black and trying to identify with Carmelo, or being white and trying to identify with Austin, and just be in the world, right? Like and alike are the same, and not fall into a flux of, oh, I'm on this side, so fuck it, I'm riding with them no matter what. Then you can start to receive more information, more channels, downloads based off of you're just observing it all and not emotionally attached to an identity. Because again, your mind has to get clear of you being anything even remotely close to human to live this God shit. You see, when you do your chakra work, you're essentially just ridding yourself of the human emotions, your human fight to be seen, to be somebody. See, the real game is to be Mr. Nobody, to be no thing, nobody, right? You don't have nobody, 1, and 2, you are nobody, and just the mental alchemy of it all. So now if you can get into that space of God, then that's when you say, I am that I am, and you can walk this bitch down accordingly instead of having an emotional fight. See, what I just did at the beginning was I was just playing in the aspect of like, look at these two sides fighting and showing a perspective or point of views that both sides are coming into conflict with. Most of y'all might be on Carmelo's side like a motherfucker quick because you just identify with black. You wasn't even there. Ha! You feel me? You pick Carmelo just because you black. You said, fuck it, I'm gonna get Carmelo. I like his name, his mama black. Shit, fuck it. So what is that energy that already attaches you to Carmelo and not to Austin? Obviously, you've been tricked into believing that your skin is who you are. That's the human. That's the human. Even in the spiritual aspect of your skin being who, like your melanin and shit, right? That doesn't mean a motherfucking thing when you understand that we are all one. So when you're going through this walk of life, even when you see Caucasian people come into your path, right? It's a lesson or messages from the spirit world that's giving you understandings about things. But it's not for you to identify with, oh, my black people, you gotta, that Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson shit, right? As I'm just speaking to my gods and goddesses. I'm not speaking to the humans. I'm speaking to the chaos beings. So I let the humans do that because I know that's what they need to do to survive in this world. But when we're talking about people that's trying to move into a space of God, no self, right? Gnosis, knowledge of self, essentially you just got to move into a space of being the ultimate observer, stepping away from it all and not attaching yourself to an identity based off of you look just like this nigga. Chaos in the blood, baby. Niggas immediately attack. I know y'all niggas did. You can't tell me you didn't. Nah, it's Carmelo's right. Fuck it. He watch what I tell you, boys. Is good. Can't wait for that nigga to get off. Boy, they lowering his bond and everything. So you know we back to OJ Simpson again. It's right back. They let Carmelo out. Them boy black people gonna be fucking in hooray. You too, nigga. They made Carmelo go to jail for some time, for some long time. Cajun people gonna be up it. See, they Caucasian people, they gonna be celebrating this shit. So this is our OJ Simpson right here, and it's gonna get deeper and deeper until the case comes into the fold. And I want to prepare the family for this energy because I don't want you to attach to one side or the other. I want you to step back and observe it all as the goddess you are. Because at the same time, at the end of the day, it ain't no sweat off your back. And if you can observe it for who you are, step back and observe it who you are, then essentially you could probably pull some information from Austin Metcalf and his situation that he went through from the spirit world. But if you can't let it go, let the whole thing go and say, I'm not picking a side, I'm just observing the game. Then that means you already cheering for your team. You feel me? Carmelo just got he just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. So you cheering for Carmelo no matter what. So this is a big, big lesson for the family to understand in this specific time, and especially us going into this Aquarius age heavier and heavier, right? You got to let this shit go. The heart chakra is based off of unconditional love for yourself and unconditional love for the people around you. It's a circle. It's a sphere. And when you are this alpha and omega, when you are your greatest greatness, essentially, you know, you're in a space of just being the end. Let me play. You know what I can play? I just seen this video. Hold on. Instagram. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Shout out to the family, man. It go down. Let's see if it pull up for me one time for your mind. Okay, the God, C. Freeman L. C. Freeman L. Hold on, you know this thing be acting janky and stuff. Okay, there goes C. Freeman L.
Is you crucified. And you get crucified on this path. Because the Kundalini must come up and slice and dice you to get all the way through. And then your karma begins to be dissipated, and the spirit begins to deal with you. So you're going to get crucified. If you get crowned, you shall be crucified. If you wonder why Jesus got a crown of thorns, you'll find out if you haven't already. So the cross is towards crucifixion, but the real cross is here, the measure of perfection. This is Alpha and Omega, not the beginning and the end. It is the beginning and finish is Alpha and Omega. It is the full circle. There is no end to perfection. There is no end to completion. There is no end to the whole of all things. That's why the serpent is seen with its tail in its mouth.
So you in this cyclical cycle of illumination and putrefaction, right? This is the yin and yang. This is like and alike are the same. This is the track meet that you're seeing, the circle, the big ass track that you're seeing, is that, right? And to understand this to the core, you want to be able to remove yourself from any identification of the human as quickly and as swiftly as possible. Because then when your mind is your greatest enemy, right, then the only thing you have to really control and defeat or become aware of is the ego-driven thoughts that keeps on coming to you based off of you having this human experience. But if you can find a place to observe them thoughts, then essentially you'll be able to remove any kind of attachment to the outcome of them thoughts based off of you just being an observer of them and not being part of the game or the rat race of it all.
Representing time moving into time, motion moving into motion, unending, continuous, ever expanding, ever going. The cross.
Shout out to the C, to the Freeman L. C. Freeman L. So, understand to the core, right? That attachment or detachment that we're going through is important for our growth. We detach from others' choices, knowing that the spiritual work is not ours to do, knowing that their spiritual work is not ours to do. So that means even just detaching from your family members and what choices they make in this lifetime. Hey, I know it's a hard pill to swallow. You see them going down a particular path that's not serving them. And you're trying to help them, but you have to remove yourself or detach from their low vibrational stuff that they're going through because maybe they came down here to go through that. And it's their choice, it's their life, even in the aspect of your kids. When they grow up and they have to make choices on their own, you can give them some guidance and some clarity about things. But at the same time, at the end of the day, they're still going to make the choice for themselves. And in them making that choice, Neo, the one, that's right and exact of them being God. We choose how we will act rather than just reacting. We step away from harmful cravings. We can listen without losing ourselves. We see our mistakes honestly, make amends, and start afresh. Detachment allows us to be in the world, but not of it. It frees us to lead our lives with grace. So this is about love, the ultimate love that you have for yourself, and being in the place of falling out of the human suffering, the ego, based off of you group thinking or putting yourself in this group dynamic. Hey, remember the Robert Cave experiment? They literally grouped them boys up, same color, same race, same other everything, age, everything. And they gave one group a particular amount of items and another group, nothing. Now, instead of looking at the person that's handing out the meals, they looked at them boys like the enemies. So they created this divide in these kids' minds based off of them looking at the other side instead of looking at the whole, instead of looking at who's handing them the seed. And who's handing you the seed, honestly, is your mind. Because again, You got to take control of your mind based off of, you know, that the powers that be is going to program you with certain narratives and objectives to keep you in the worker slave syndrome mentality. So until you address the person that you believe yourself to be in your mind, I'm black, I'm a college graduate, I'm a Omega, or whatever the fuck, I'm a teacher, you feel me, I'm a nurse, you know what I'm saying, all of that shit, right? Till you just remove yourself from that identification. I'm vegan. Oh, that's the one right there. I'm vegan. And start moving into a space of just observing everything and experimenting with everything that works for you, then you won't be set free. Nigga, you might have to eat meat. You might have came down here to eat meat. And because of you objectively saying, okay, well, I guess that vegan lifestyle is working for him, so maybe I got to eat vegan, right? And you was doing great when you was eating meat. Now you went vegan, and now all of a sudden, you stuff start happening to you in the world that's fucking up your whole world. You don't even realize you just fucking your shit just being fucked the fuck up based off of now you eating you eating salads and shit. And back then you used to eat meat and you was on top of the world. Not saying there's one that's better than the other or whatever. I'm saying this world is about you experimenting on you. You're the ultimate lab experiment. You're the lab rat. And you're doing experiments to find or know thyself on your own creation, which is what you came down here to have, an adventure. So another aspect of all of this, right, is if you can see through the eyes of the ultimate observer, then none of this attached energy will happen to you. I remember my partner who put me on Bobby Hemming in college, my nigga Lil B, he put me on Bobby Hemming. You know, this nigga is one of them little kids, you know, we all 18, 19 or whatever, right? And he kept on saying stuff like, and he would come around us, right? We'd be outside smoking or whatever. He'll come around us trying to hit the joint or whatever, you feel me? Puff, puff, pass on your ass. And he'll just come around and he'll start saying some crazy ass shit. And he starts saying like, you know, we gods, right? We really gods, and we smoking. We ain't trying to hear that shit. We thinking to ourselves like, what this little nigga on? You feel me? Now, mind you, I'm not knowing that little nigga was, you know, right and exact. Because, you know, I stepped back and I said, oh, okay. Because I remember I was smoking outside and this nigga, my nigga Lil B, he came up and he was talking all this shit. And you know, we trying to clown him and shit. We ain't trying to hear that, boy. Get your goofy ass around here. But something inside of me said, you know what? Let me observe what this nigga is saying. And just really hone in. I was hiding a bitch too when he was saying it. And I was like, this nigga sounded weird. What the fuck is wrong with this boy? You feel me? And I had already been reading NLP shit. So I said, okay. So then I said, you know what, Lil B, you're going to be fucking with me, right? Sure enough, he started putting me on these Bobby Hemming tapes and shit that he had. I started watching them hoes. Then YouTube came out. And then we got the clips now. And I was blown the fuck away, you feel me? Even though I still didn't understand completely because I was still in some kind of black consciousness thing, You feel me, with the Afrocentric thing, because that's what I thought Bobby was on back then too. You feel me? Because my nigga Lil B was still on that shit too, right? So then, if I never observed, right, got out of my own way, got out of my own ego-driven way, and just observed this nigga Lil B, I wouldn't be on YouTube now. I wouldn't be who I am today. All my other partners, they like, shut your goofy ass up, boy. Da 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 da. They scoring on this nigga. Hey, get your little boy, you annoying. Cause you know it's one of them little annoying, you know, they running up to you and shit. He 5 feet saying this bullshit with, you know, he coming around, he got glasses and everything. Y'all know that kid in college, yeah. Sure enough. Nigga damn near he saved my life, shit. You feel me? Honestly, because then it took me down a rabbit hole of investigation and challenging the programming that was set upon me. You feel me? So we want to be able to step back and observe it all and not fight or attached to one outcome just because it was something that we've always known. You have to detach from it all. Observe everything. Fuck it. And don't have no fight in the race. Because when you do pick a side, that means you're subject to that side alone. No matter if it's a spiritual teacher, no matter if it's somebody that looks like you, whatever, right? You got to listen to all this shit. White, black, Hindu, all of it. You got to read it all because, again, that's what's going to take you up out of here. Here goes some information on what track meets symbolize. Track symbolizes the path of journey we take in life, often marked with ups and downs, curves, and straightaways. Races, that's a double entendre. Each race could symbolize different aspects of life's challenges or goals we pursue. Sprint races may represent short-term goals or bursts of effort, while longer races like marathons symbolize endurance and persistence. Hey, you're playing the wrong game. When you see this Carmelo and Austin Metcalf situation, it's a symbolic message for you to understand something deeper. It's not for you to pick a side and say, I'm on the black side, or for you to pick the Caucasian side, I'm on the white side. It's you to objectively observe the game that's happening and see what the spiritual message is that spirit is giving you. I'm telling you what it is. What does track mean? This is telling you straight up what time it is. Races. Each race can symbolize different aspects of life's challenges or goals we pursue. So instead of you looking at the situation as like, oh shit, Carmelo is innocent, or Austin is guilty, or Austin is innocent, or whatever, right? You have to be able to step back and say, okay, what are you trying to teach me, spirit? What are you trying to give to me, spirit, right? And the bigger aspect of it all is the polarity. Like and unlike are the same. And when like and unlike are the same, now you're in a space of understanding that both sides of the coin can be right or wrong. Finish line signifies achievement, completion of goals, and the culmination of efforts. It can also represent transitions of milestones in life. Competition reflects the drive for self-improvement, pushing boundaries and striving for excellence. Support and teammates symbolize collaboration, community, and the importance of relationships in our journey. So again, you step back, look at this thing from a vacuum, from a lens of God, and don't have no strong stranglehold in this case that's about to take a year or two to unfold clearly, because this is the OJ Simpson. They about to push this bitch. Then you can remove yourself from the minutia of the world and objectively just find information that will give you channels and downloads of what's actually happening in it in the grand scheme of things. So getting back to Polaria, Wayne Chandler Polaria, what is imperative to understand is the relativity of all of these varying degrees. We are compelled to use terms in a descriptive context so that others may understand us, but they are relative from person to person, let alone in the absolute sense. If you travel around the world in the eastward direction, you will eventually arrive in the west. If you go far enough south, you'll find yourself in the north. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to stand on. Eventually, you're going to end up in a final destination of the opposite side. Chaos in the blood. That which we deem good and bad are not absolutely so. The expression, the lesser of two evils, refer to something that is less good than the next higher in the scale. But what is less good, in turn, is better or more good than what is below. Love and hate are emotions human categorized as diametrically opposite or inconcilable. But according to the principle of polarity, there is no such thing as absolute love or absolute hate. Envision a polar scale that measures these two emotional extremes. At any point on the scale, there will be more love and less hate, or vice versa. As we ascend the scale, we encounter less hate and more love. But if we descend the scale, we find the opposite. These intermediate areas are the jurisdictions of like, disdain, dislike, disdain, fondness, and ability. Therefore, there are no absolutes that introduce the next subcategory. That's absolutely good. So remember, like and alike are the same, and you're just supposed to observe it all and not be caught up in the flux of picking a side, right? Because once you pick a side, that means you're stuck in the human suffering of it all, and then you're in the minutia of the rat race. And that rat race is going to keep you in a constant cycle of fear, of low vibrational energy, and in the stuck cycle of ignorance and conformity. So again, I'm telling y'all straight up what I've done, because essentially I used to be in this rat race, and this rat race wasn't serving me based off of me trying to choose a side, right? See, when you take care of your mind, then you start to have your positive self-talks about yourself. You have to have gratitude about yourself, right? You start to train yourself into a level of no self, breath work, movement, quality social connections, quality sleep, meditation, vitamin D, all of this good stuff that you can feed yourself over and over again, that keeps you out of the flux of the survival mode rat race ideas. Because now when you're in this side choosing or survival mode choosing mechanism, you never get to experience God fully, because you're still human. Yes, sir, family. Give me some questions. What y'all got, baby? What y'all got? Give me some questions. Give me some questions. The ultimate observer is you. The end. And I'm gonna be curious to see how far the rabbit hole goes when we see all the people online choose a side and say for a fact that Carmelo is innocent or he's guilty or whatever. Hell, I seen Tariq Nasheed come out and already say suspected white supremacists gets stabbed. Them boys already, Tariq already is gonna pick his side. And he says suspected white supremacist gets his just doing. Essentially, that's what Tariq said. I said, damn. I said, well, I said, hey, here we go. So they're gonna run this down your mind heavy, right? And it's up to you to be God and choose no side. So I know it's a hard pill to swallow because y'all gonna hear the story of Carmelo, the black side. And y'all be like, yeah, that's right. Nah, fuck it, that's right. Y'all gonna hear that white side. Y'all gonna say, nah, that's wrong. Fuck that shit. I know that didn't happen. I don't like how this white person is even saying that story. But to objectively just understand that like and alike are the same, and they're flowing on the same spectrum of thought, then that means you step back, surrender, detach, observe, and then receive information and channels from the spirit world, from your higher self, that's going to actually infuse your journey. And that's the real game of this thing. Straight up and down. Straight up and down. I didn't hear a lot of this because it's the same story, just different characters. Absolutely. Absolutely. Darker the Blue Greek. Absolutely powerful message and right on time. Yep. I'm just seeing what's happening, and I just know, you know what I'm saying? We know what's gonna happen. And then, this is the problem. You don't never get to set out your adventure because you worried about or focused in on the narrative of this world. Now all of a sudden you at work, not visualizing your blue sky, thinking yourself as a higher being, which takes some focus, which takes some consciousness, right? Which takes a level of mind to see yourself in a different position. Now you at work worried about Carmelo getting his bond reducted. Hey, all right, y'all keep on with that shit. They're gonna show you, boy. I had a dream, and this is how I know my shit was on point. I had a dream last night, and in the dream, we was cosplaying in a big ass field. We was cosplaying in a big field, and I was Teddy Pendergrass, and I was singing to a goddess or something. Like I was singing to a goddess, whatever it was, and there was a whole bunch of other characters in the dream as well, and we was running around this field cosplaying, and there was people watching. There were spectators watching the whole thing, it was like a track meet, yeah, just like a track meet or one of them ancient, yeah, like a stadium, whatever, right? And we was in a big field, and we was just acting out characters. I woke up, I said, yep, I knew it. I said, yep, this is a big stage, and we're just here playing in this video game. So we don't have to attach ourselves to the game because we're acting out certain characters. We need to just be observing the game, eating our popcorn, watching this stuff like a movie. I had that dream last night. I said, oh, that's it. And I was lucid. So look, I'm lucid in the dream. And there was a lot of stuff happening. I wish I would have wrote all of that shit down, but I kind of forgot as I was waking up. I'm starting to forget and shit. But I was Teddy Pendergrass, and for some reason I had to sing to this goddess, and something happened where people started chasing the goddess or whatever. It was crazy. It was a crazy ass dream. Wow. And I'm lucid in the dream, and when I'm lucid, I don't like to take over and try stuff unless I have to, because I want my spirit, my subconscious mind to just give me the understanding of what it wants me to give. So I'm brought my consciousness into the dream. And essentially I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, I already knew as I was dreaming what the dream was about. You feel me? And what it was showing me, because there was so many different characters in the field doing different acting things. It was like everybody was acting as characters that came down to earth. And I happened to be Teddy Pendergrass and shit. And then it was a lot of other characters, which I will remain nameless. And they were all actors. So you just got to understand that this is a big ass game. And nigga, we not even, this shit is like a show, a TV show that people are watching from the spirit world, like in entertainment and shit. And they just enjoying the show. They're like, yeah, I watch that shit. You feel me? Because the emotional attachment is what actually people are seeing. They're like, oh shit, that nigga tripping in this bitch. That nigga really feel like this is real. And the more you get out of that stuff, the more you can get into the space of God. Question, what's up with these allergens and sinuses people are suffering from intensely? I had ear infection so bad I felt someone was physically attacking me, and 4-5 different doctors gaslight me. Crazy, said nothing. There's a book called Metaphysical Anatomy book that you want to get, and then you can just look up certain ailments that will give you the underlying effect of what these allergies are. You feel me? So you always want to look up ailments in the aspect, or ChatGPT, different allergens that's happening inside of you, and say, what does this mean symbolically? And then it'll say, hey, you're stressing out, so you gotta da 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 da. You feel me? Did the Drake and K. Dot beef start last year around this time? I don't even remember, Titus. It might have. Straight up and down, it might have. Yes, sir, family. So I want to just make sure that we understand to the core that, hey, look, you're in control. You're the ultimate observer. Don't let this feed into your consciousness because you're bored. There's going to be spiritualists, quote unquote spiritualists out there that's going to feed you a narrative. And that narrative is going to be their point of view based off of their energetic imprint in their being. You got to step away from all of it and just observe the whole game. Observe what they're doing as a play, as a show, because again, it's not serving you to feed into their narrative and say, yeah, nigga, I'm picking this side. Because again, the root of attachment is suffering. Y'all know what it is, family. Peace to the gods.